Let me just say.
It took us a second to get resituated because Saturday night I was live in there.
Yeah, he was like.
And it's like normally we can sit down and fire it right up, but it was like, we got to move all the crap back over here.
Yes. One more second.
Okay.
I figured it was better if we just click it on live and then finish.
Like old times.
Yeah. Like
Remember the olden days when we would do that?
Ah, shit.
What? It's okay.
No, it is. It's just y'all are gonna have to look at it. Show me, hey Icy, show me which side. So this side is the one that's showing. So if that's the side that's showing, then what? Who cares? That's the question.
It's true.
That is the question.
Oh,
So
I need to
like
turn this down.
That way,
Yes,
that
yeah.
way. That way needs to go that way. Whatever.
We got it.
We do. I'm not gonna jack with it. Too bad. I'm gonna just go with it.
It's Monday.
It is Monday. It's Monday and we had beans.
We had beans.
We had beans.
What did we have last night?
What did I make last night?
Sex?
No, what did I make last night? That's not news to anybody.
What did we eat last night?
On that note, I'm gonna fix this.
Oh, we got free Mexican.
Oh, yeah, someone bought it for us and I was like, that's pretty sweet. It was nice, but it was like Sean's so sweet. What he really wants to say is leave it alone.
I know. I think it's fine.
He's so sweet to me. Like he doesn't get like okay. Doesn't matter. There's Jocelyn. Karen, hello. Who else did I miss? You would think we haven't done this in years.
When was the last time we went live? It was last Sunday
Mama
night.
Ricky.
About a week ago, I think. Maybe last Sunday night we did.
Something like that. It's been super busy with like trying to get the new Silky.
Yeah.
The poor little Silky. He's so easygoing. He's like, Tiny's like, no, you go that way.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, I'll go that way.
Sometimes when life happens, you just got to take a break. And that's what we did.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You look nice. You're clean shaven.
I shaved.
I love it when he's clean shaven. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like the stubble too.
You like the clean shaven better.
I do. Because I can see your face.
I have a coworker that it was kind of like his mantra. He had this big bushy beard for years and years. And now he keeps it clean shaven.
Is it still clean shaven?
Yeah, there's a honey.
Oh, is there?
Well, I mean, I know there is. I mean, he's my friend, so he talks to me. You know, not everybody.
I'm surprised he told you.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I know he trusts you, but I used to. You were like, oh, he doesn't tell me about it.
No.
That's so cool.
No.
That is so cool.
I thought about like if he retires, because he's probably going to retire in the spring. I'll be like, you know what? I'll miss that bastard when he's gone.
I know. You'll miss his grouchiness.
Yep.
You know, it's like what I always think is like when you're clean shaven, people have their preferences for what they like. Some people like men in uniform, like police officers in uniform, and that's a certain thing. I like soldiers in uniform.
Right.
And not random ones, just this one. But that's where the clean shaven part comes in, because you rarely see unless they're special forces.
Or if it's a Monday of a 4-day weekend or something like that, and then they've been hanging out for 3 days.
But like during the Middle East conflict, special forces were allowed to grow their beards and their hair and color it black, so they blended in, right?
Something like that.
That's what I thought. Something like that. So I was like, but yeah, definitely. And police officers, they're not as strict. There we go.
Stitching.
See, Karen likes it too. They're not as like super picky anymore about police officers being clean shaven like they used to be. And also not baseball players.
Well, baseball players have crazy haircuts now.
My uncle said if he showed up to preseason, you got fined so many dollars for every pound you were overweight.
Wow.
And your hair had to be cut and you had to be clean shaven. And I was like, because it was the gentleman's.
Certain teams don't. I mean, you can tell certain teams have a different look. Like, you
Yeah.
don't see a lot of crazy hair on the Braves.
But you've got so many athletes now that have this like diva complex
Yeah.
that they're literally like, I just won't play if I can't wear my hair
Well,
how
okay,
I want. And they
so
fall for it.
if you're paying me 20, I look at it this way. If you're paying me $20 million a year to play a game that I love, I'm going to look however you want me to look. But other people don't think of it that way. They're like, I like to have my hair long and my mustache and this and that. If I hit 40 home runs and bat 300, you're not going to care.
No.
You know.
Well, and the guy that got famous for wearing the pearls, isn't he gone?
Jock Peterson, he's playing for the Giants.
But he's not quite as famous as he used to be, right?
I
Does he
mean,
still wear the pearls?
whenever you make it into the postseason, you get a little bit more notoriety. There's 32 teams, so you know.
That makes sense, I guess.
So
I just hadn't seen him in a while, so I didn't know where he'd gone.
yeah, he got signed by. We almost tried to trade back for him, but he got a pretty good deal from the Giants, so he went there to San Francisco.
That's very, very cool. I like that.
Who's out there acting crazy right now?
Everybody. We're gonna start doing a weekly segment called "Whose Tatas Were Out This Week." That's the new segment.
Whose tatas were out last?
Shoot the Shit used to do the Savage used to do the stank news. Shoot the Shit.
And Joe
used to
was
do,
on Stank News with her sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about whose tatas were out.
So
Karen, we've got our first entry.
that's right. That's right. And
always.
we were comparing her with the latest set of tatas that flew out. It was like, really?
We're gonna kind of do like start first and then go back. So today there was an accusation made that Paula, Jeremy's mom, was going to expose Al's criminal record. Let me tell you something.
What criminal record?
Paula had no idea you had one. I had no idea you have one. I could really give a shit less. But you're going to have to learn how to count to 10, maybe puff a couple less puffs before you hit
it's
the
wake
thing.
and bake. That's what you call it, right?
And that's cool.
Yeah, it's whatever. You do you, boo.
But no one knew or cared.
It's weird, Josh, because okay, Al's been around for a little while. And now all of a sudden, you know, she's drawn the ire of a few other people because she got a little bit too big for her britches. And out it comes. I mean, there's, you know, what was it, like maybe Friday, right? Thursday or Friday. All of a sudden, Mandy's like, look at this. And I look, and it's Al topless.
And I went,
and I was like, God,
where in the hell did that? And so it's kind of like it normally is in the Twitterverse. It's the picture seen around the world or whatever.
Right.
But the explanation for it is I'm gonna let you tell it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, okay, well, look.
It totally disrespects people with eating disorders to me. So I'm reading this. So of course, what Al's strategy is they found my topless pictures and it's circling around Twitter. Circling around. Now everybody sees me topless, right? She gets that picture and she puts it up and she says something about, yes, it's a picture I took with my latest, last time
I'm
my
dead,
ED.
Chris. I'm dead. That's it.
Yeah.
She said she has no boobs.
Yeah.
I'm like, deceased.
Yeah.
That's it.
And she said she was having an episode from her eating disorder. And that was the result of it. It's in her Twitter. You can read the tweet. She's got her own boobs out. She's got her own picture on her Twitter. And I thought to myself, and I was like, really? You couldn't own it anymore? But you're blaming, like, Eugenia Cooney's got an eating disorder.
Yeah.
Every time she has an episode, she doesn't pull her boobs out. So I think that it was a cop-out.
Oh my God, Karen.
But
it was. And the other thing is, I'll let you finish.
well,
She better never call him Tom a cuck again.
I know. What is up with that?
You got a whole titty chock and a husband.
Yeah, a lot of people have, these nicknames for me. Then you're joined in with nicknames assigned to me, referring to me as a cuck or whatever. But you're out there. The definition of a cuck is somebody who watches their partner, their wife, engage in sexual activity with another person.
Which is why it's confusing they call Sean that. Maybe a simp, but
that might fall a little bit into that, but
no, I don't think you are, but
no, but that would be something that they could maybe drive home a point.
Right.
But if your titties are on Google has your titties and you're married, I guarantee you this dude doesn't know they're out there.
He probably does
I
now.
mean, maybe he does. Maybe you'll pull like what a moon bear did and say, "Here, babe,
But
get on here real quick
here's the
and tell us we were on a break, and that's why I sent the news." And he was like, "Okay." And I've been there. I mean, I understand that. In my last, what are you supposed to do if you're a husband?
that's what we were talking about. I'm like, when you find out that there's breast shots of your spouse, the only thing I said, it makes sense now why you handled it the way you did. The only thing you can do is go, yeah, I knew they were out there. Yeah, I knew.
I took those pictures.
Hey, D,
I
that's
mean,
all you
so
can
that's
say.
all you can do. So I guess that's what Owl's hubs would have to say. Hey, do you know this is this was found on Google? You know, it wasn't like some dude crept in the community and goes, "Yeah, a few years ago I had this thing going with Al and she sent me," because that's at least it's a tasteless move on the dude's part. I still believe that. No,
But
Google,
my question is,
Google got your nudes.
where they had to have been sent to somebody.
Right.
They weren't just, I mean, was there an explanation as to
Yeah, I
they
mean,
got sent to
I didn't.
OnlyFans, or
I
what was
don't
the
know.
explanation
She said that
for
this
it?
was a picture that she took when she was having an eating disorder episode
Okay,
or
fair
something.
enough, fair enough.
But she didn't say what group, like what platform she decided to freak out and take her top off. She didn't say that.
The other thing, bless her heart, for real, if she does, hey, Misty, have an ED, they're picky about that too. They'll take your stream down if you don't say ED. I'm assuming it's not erectile dysfunction, but hey,
That's what I thought it was. He said I
And
was having ED. I
there's
was like,
Carlos.
well, what do we don't know about her?
I had no idea. But she's always, vehemently denied having one.
Right.
When people make fun of her for it or say it, she always goes, "No, I'm just naturally skinny." So honestly, bless your heart that you actually have one. But some of the coping skills that I've learned, and I'm not better than anybody else, when I'm having a moment, like a mental health moment, I might talk to Sean, might talk to my girls,
What do you not do?
might talk to my parents, might
What
talk
do
to my
you not do?
psychiatrist. I have never, ever, but I guess it manifests differently, raised my shirt and took a topless pic.
And then, because it never fails. Look, here's one thing to anybody that wants to be
Carlos is here.
somebody that wants to be a content creator, right? You have to understand that if you're going to review people, because that's what she says, I just review people. I don't make
And
fun of
doesn't want a
people,
drama channel.
and I don't want to draw. I just review people, right? You better make sure that, especially if you go after somebody like Mandi and I, that we have people that like us. We're not the biggest channel around, but we have people that, especially the Salmon Yaba thing proved, as that started to unfold, other channels started to lean in and go, man, Sean and Mandi they're holding their own in this. They're right. This group is a bunch of hot air. Let's go in on them a little bit. And that happened. Owl kind of fell into that group. And somebody went out and started to find stuff out about her. They found boobs. So if you're going to be a content creator, you have to go into it knowing that sooner or later, if you have a little bit of success and you get the ire of other people and the support, someone's going to dig down and try to find out what they can about you. Just remember that. And eventually, if your boobs have been out on the internet, somebody's eventually going to find them. If you have a criminal record, somebody's going to find it. Somebody, if you really piss them off, they're going to find your house and they're put it on there. Just remember that. If you don't want to be the drama, you might want to not make content about drama. Owl is just right down there now with all the other gals that are out there that their boobs are on the internet in this community. And when you start making excuses like I had a moment, that puts you right there with TT.
Yeah.
That puts you right there with TT when your topless pictures are a result of your mental breakdown. That's this on the same level. That's what it's looking like for Al. She had a channel. She built it years ago, had people watch it. She decided to come down into this smutty drama community. Now you're one of them.
When she first started going live, a couple years ago, maybe.
When she came back.
She came in very, very almost cute, like nervous and innocent. She didn't want, she kind of teetered and didn't make any waves or whatever.
People were gunning for her to do well.
They did.
And
And she wrote it out. The other thing is, Shauna's writing, oh, thank you, D. Don't send nudes ever. Right?
Don't,
Look,
right.
that's all, like,
Lean
don't.
in, D. Can we pin that?
Sure. It's
Don't
already up
put your
there.
nudes out there.
Yeah.
Don't.
Sean even did a whole vlog before a couple years ago.
Yeah.
No, 4 years ago, probably.
Oh, don't
now.
share my, well, yeah, don't share my nudes, bro.
Yeah.
But that was more along the lines of, and I was going after Real Stream News for that. Because Real Stream at that point was doing some revenge porn or whatever. And I've said to people, if you're a guy and somebody's ever shared your nudes or whatever, it's just not in real good taste to expose them. And you know, that somebody has sent you something like that personal, there's never a fallout big enough where you're gonna expose that, in my opinion. In my opinion. And that's what that vlog was about.
Right, Jocelyn. Jocelyn says, my ex would expose my nudes because they know I look good. No, I mean,
that's it.
And here's the other thing, that if you believe nothing else, there is this kind of like revolving thing on YouTube. People are close friends, and then they fall out. And no matter how nasty the fallout is, sometimes they become friends again. And my example of that is, you never know how things are going to flip-flop. People even end up together that hate each other.
That's right.
They date their stalker.
Right.
But this is what ladies need to remember. Whether you're married or not, if you're talking to a dude and you start getting friendly, don't send them, because don't ever think that if it goes south, and I'm not saying, I'm not having anyone in particular, that they won't get shown. Just believe that whoever you might share them with, you never know who they go to. And it may be them just saying, hey, you know, showing a buddy, right? And then the buddy has just don't send them anywhere.
You shouldn't. And here's the thing. If your boobs end up, if there's topless pictures of you circling around, don't try to garner pity. Al tries to garner pity. She did that years ago when TT went after her, and then she tried to sell to the community that TT called a prison. That's all, you know, Clara talked about that. That was the first thing that happened years ago. And that's kind of, it's water under the bridge, but people remember it. Yeah. They remember that
and I don't have anyone in particular in mind.
When things start to go bad for her, the first thing she does is she grovels to what she thinks are, you know, that's her audience is important to her. She wants them to feel bad for her. The best thing you can do is if your boobs end up, if your topless pictures end up, blame it on somebody that you shared them with and talk about how tasteless they are for doing it. That's true. That's a good point. That's what you do. You go, I had a moment. I was down with this person. I shared a moment, and they turned around and turned on me, and they did this. That's what you do. You'll get way more sympathy and way more than just saying, well, I was having a mental breakdown, so I just ripped my shirt off and showed everybody my boobs. You know, anyway. In your dreams, why does this remind me of roast beef? Right? That was another picture. Went to TDM to prove that they were not a man. And they ended up in everyone's DMs several years ago. Because that guy TDM. Everywhere. With birthmark and all. Right. Because that guy, Takedown Man, I hear he's sniffing around, is a piece of shit. And everybody around here knows he's a piece of shit. Yep. Genesee, why do people want so much? I don't know. And the thing is me being TT's husband at the time, so I think about Moon Bear's husband. I think about Al's husband. I think about all these guys that are like, this is my significant other that's in this drama community stuff, and they're showing their shit to everybody. Yeah. It's not okay to do that. And because something as absurd as saying she's a man. Oh, you're talking about. Well, no, I'm just saying that's an example of how absurd it is. So you go, okay, I'm going to do this. My face isn't in it. You make a poor decision. You snap the picture. You send it off. He shares it. And you were in such a hurry to get it off to prove you weren't a man. You've got your wedding ring in the picture, your fingernails, your birthmark that you have. And that's, Jocelyn said she Google searched the Beast nudes, and she goes, I'm traumatized. And Google has them. And that's what I bring a certain amount of that to the community. He's writing a course curriculum. Like, I'm looking at it going, oh, that poor motherfucker. That's actually a pretty good course curriculum. You know, there's a guy lets his significant other do her thing on
Yes.
YouTube and stays out of it. This is my own thing. This is my thing. You go to work, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But then you realize that you find out that someone's going to get in touch with this guy somehow and say, do you know that this is her nudes? And if he comes back with what's this all about and blah, 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 I'll deal with it. Well, she's out there fucking with other people. She's out there fucking with other people and doing content about other people and putting other people's names and likeness in her chat. So how about this? And the reason that I can say this with so much confidence is because you guys know, as sure as the two of us are sitting here right now, the last month and a half, they dug and they dug and they tried to find criminal record. They tried to find anything on the two of us, right?
Right.
And it's not there. Be careful. There is no criminal record for me or Mandi that's going to be there. You found a couple bankruptcies, right? Me and her or whatever.
I'm going to screenshot that.
But you just have to remember that when people start digging, they're going to find it. They're going to find it.
Yeah, they will.
And then you're going to have a significant other there that you're going to have to eventually go and say, get on there and tell them you knew about it. Get on there and tell them.
That's all you can do.
You just got to
That's
tell
all
them.
you
Tell them we
can
were on a
do.
break. Tell them we were separated. Tell them that. And then sometimes the person actually comes on and goes, yeah, I knew. In their mind, they're like, that freaking nasty bitch sending out pictures. Oh, I knew about it. Oh, man.
What can you say?
What can you say? What
yeah.
can you do?
Carlos, I don't know who that is, but the illusionist rebel is Hussy's pay pig, and he slurps on dildos on
That sounds
OnlyFans.
sounds legit to me.
If you're gonna slurp on something,
Yep. So and then for Al, to wrap it up in a nice little bow,
yes,
she said that she had word that somebody is going to out her criminal record, and nobody thought really that you had a criminal record or that there was one. Not Mandi, not Paula, but a third party. Two other parties were like, I'll look into that.
and I'm assuming you got trolled.
Either that or it's an incredible troll on her part. Now, if she trolled the rest of us by getting people to go search for her criminal record, bravo, touche.
Yeah.
That's a great troll, but someone got trolled here.
Yeah.
Someone did.
Yeah, I don't know. The right when she started going after certain people, like her GoFundMe that she had for a house fire got exposed. Some news story that had her like legal name in it it was found. If you just have to be ready if you're going to throw those tomatoes
I think that people get into certain echo chambers and they believe, and I'll just use us as an example, that like, ooh, look at ATX and Tomahawk. They're Sam Telfer's doing stream after stream about them, and they're sitting there, and I'm telling you, even today, nothing that she ever said or threatened us with has happened. But people kind of will watch that, and maybe they feel comfortable, like we're going to go after ATX and Tomahawk, and a couple other people decided that, and then all of a sudden, when somebody that's not Sean or Mandi comes back at you, you guys are like, "What are you talking about?" That's what I meant. People outside of our community leaned in and noticed what we were going through, and now we're sort of friendly with them.
Yeah.
We're sort of in cahoots with them. And I told y'all that was going to happen. I said to Mandi, just hold on. People are going to see this for what it is. And it's happened.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we were talking about that. Let me tell you something. So this morning, Sean likes Vivazins when he wakes up. It's a little shot. He talked about it on a vlog. So in the morning when I get my tea, I stop by and I get it, and then it goes on his nightstand. So this morning I paid for it. I know that I paid for it. I'm just telling you how the day went, and could not find it. So I'm like, well, let's go back to the store. We know the people. They'll pull the footage. We'll see that I paid for it, and then we'll do whatever. So we were going to go do that. So in the meantime, we're getting in the car. This goes to show you how old and in our ways we are. If our routine is uprooted, like our evening routine, it turns into a catastrophe. And I was like,
we just gave you guys the trolls and the people who don't like us enough content now.
No, but then I'm getting to why we're gonna have to have a kid. So we're like all like discombobulated. We get in the car and it's a Ford Edge. I don't know if anyone's put that out there or not.
We took a
It's a
picture
Ford
of
Edge.
it. Yeah.
No,
It
it
is.
gets put out all the time by what's her name.
Yeah.
So you just push the start button. So we get in the car and I'm like, oh, it's not starting. I got to get the key. Okay. So I go to open the door to the house because usually I remind Sean to lock it. And today I didn't. So, or I lock it. Well,
Sean
it was
locked
locked.
It was locked. We are now locked out.
So we had one little open window. And when I say little window, because we live in a triple wide.
That's right.
It was open. So we opened the window and popped the screen off. But the two of us are so freaking old. Used to, you could just
can't
throw
even
yourself
crawl
in
up
through
in
the
it.
window and get him and be whatever. So I'm helping push his legs up.
Then I'm like,
he's trying
go over and get that 5-gallon
and then
bucket.
he's like,
I think
right.
that's enough.
And then he's like, okay, watch the knee.
Watch my knee. Watch my knee.
But I said, this is when you need a toddler. If you stick a toddler through the window, go get my keys. I mean, the cats are staring at us. Sawyer was already in the car with us. The cats are staring at us. I'm like, so my point being, I'll be 45 on Saturday?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that old. And I'm not dropping my birthday on purpose. I really am not. Because there's always constant talk about that, well, I'm this age now. And so, but I'm here to say there is certain shit that happens when you hit a certain age, like throwing yourself through a window to get some keys or changing courses with your routine because something unexpected happens.
But we're sitting there going, are we still going to be able to go live? No, we need to push it because we can't hurry.
Oh, it turned into a whole thing. So, that's right. Today is Jocelyn's dad's birthday. He turns 50. Tell him I said happy birthday. He'll be like, who in the hell is that?
3.5 years older than your dad, Joss.
Let me tell you, if I had my phone with me, I would have absolutely have recorded him climbing through the window. The cat's trying to figure out what the hell is going on.
Mm-hmm. And it was the window I climbed into was not in the other bathroom that was doxed. Did you guys see the dox of our that had to be our you guys have seen the tour of our home, right? Y'all seen the master bath. But somebody decided to take our spare bathroom and put it on Twitter and dox it as
Buns' troll account.
Yes.
Our Lady of Perpetual for posterity or whatever it is.
But her picture's floating around and people got a picture of that.
And she doesn't like it when her picture gets out. She does not like that. And all I can say is you shouldn't be talking about anybody's looks, age, weight, none of that. You shouldn't be talking about it.
She looks like, you remember Big Ange from the...
Large Marge.
Well, remember Big Ange from the Mafia show? She looks like the
Presley
version of Big Ange that didn't have any kind of surgery done. Y'all remember Big Ange?
I don't.
She was a very likable one. What was the Mafia show that she was on? It's about mafia wives. There was a show about all these gals that were married to the mafia and stuff like that. It was reality TV.
I know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. I thought she looked like Howdy Do.
Mob Wives.
Here's the other thing that people don't think through. Look, I'm not saying for a second, and y'all know because that I don't have some extra stuff around the midsection. Not even denying that I have it.
Beautiful.
But what I haven't done is pulled my shirt up and done a belly dance that I knew I was going to regret about 10 seconds after I did it.
Oh.
So, or that, so people are like, oh, well, you look any better. And I'm not going to say who was the belly dancer, but I also don't record it and put it out there. But I saw Presley and that reminded me that I sent the screenshot to Presley and she goes, oh, good holy Jesus, or whatever she said. And I was like, hope you're having a good day at work. Oh. You turned 40, Misty. When I turned, I have to say I didn't really have a problem turning 40. I was took it with a grain of salt. My trigger was when I found my first gray hair.
You don't really have
No, well, they color it. But you never know what's going to...
one gray hair, maybe.
You never know what's going to, make you feel like, oh, I am.
That's kind of true. 50 was a little bit oh my gosh, but I was with you.
Thank you.
My romance with you was new when I turned 50. That was that October was our first October together.
And I was 40 and you were 50, right?
Yep, something like that, yep.
Carlos says, Hussey reminds him of Vito from The Sopranos. No more window climbing, right, Misty?
I know Carlos was on the panel. I was in Tragic's panel. Me, Tragic, and Negs on Saturday. Carlos was doing the Lord's work. He was during that, in Katie's chat. He's a good one. Stay on his good side.
Yeah.
By the way, our super chat was from D tonight, wasn't it? From D.
Yeah.
I noticed when I was on panel with Tragic and Negs, they had dropped my PayPal a couple of times. Tragic. And D, I did see your donation. Thank you so much for that on
That was
Saturday.
really cool.
Yeah, it was very cool.
He gets excited because he's like,
God's work. It is.
Do we need it from no, Sean, you get what you want with it. It's yours.
Yeah, I didn't do that panel for anything other than just to hang out with the dudes. And so to see that in the PayPal was
Gothic. Hey,
was,
Gothic. Nikki
very, very cool.
Chuckles.
That was very cool.
Yeah. I thought it went well. I stayed, and it went fast. Oh, and I was snapping pictures of bathrooms because like you were saying,
That's when
someone
came
goes,
out.
These morons right here, this is what their bathroom looks like. I've got the plans to the house. You're right. That is our guest bathroom.
That is one of our bathrooms.
But the other one, and then if you have the plans, you didn't see that the master bath has a separate shower and bath.
And the
Come
people
on,
that
buds,
follow
up
us,
your game.
And the people that follow us saw the house tour anyway.
But I mean, it's so random.
It was random. They're running out of stuff to do.
And they're trying to insult me with that big purple Barney looking thing. I didn't even know what the hell it was. I was like, Sean, is that Barney? What is that?
It's Gremlin.
Grimace,
it's Grimace.
He said.
Grimace,
and I was like,
yeah.
What is Grimace from? And he goes, it's for, hey, here. He was like, it's from Ronald McDonald. And I was like, oh, like the Hamburglar?
So he's like one of
was
those
the Hamburglar
characters.
was Burger King though, right?
No, Hamburglar was.
I missed the Hamburglar. Yeah. He was pretty cool. So I'm okay with being Grimace because I didn't know what the hell it was. I had no idea what the hell it was.
So when people start, and they went there with it last week, when you can't give, we weren't live at all week. It was a whole week. And when you don't give people the attention that, sick people the attention that they want, they go for the unbreathed.
Hey, Callie, it's good to see you.
And they did that, and they went for that.
Yeah.
And when they're in there telling people to off themselves and things like that, they told Callie to do that. They told Manny to do that. You've won when they go there.
They've turned a whole Abby into it.
Yeah.
Grimace was the coolest. Yeah, that's why I'm kind of like, Life of a Free Spirit editing as we speak. I keep searching your name on YouTube to make sure I didn't miss the notification of the next installment of what is it? It's called Callie's Not Gonna Take It Anymore. And it's the next installment.
I've been reading Twitter, and it's like, I'm gonna stay on her good side.
She was like, y'all just give me a year. I'm gonna get back on my feet, and then I'm coming for all of you.
All you guys.
And I'll be damned.
There's whole movies that are based on that. Guys that they leave for gone, they leave for dead, and they like Rambo, and then they get healthy again, and then that moment when they take the bandana and tighten it down, and they're going to get them,
is gonna,
like Kill Bill and stuff like that. Those type of movies.
Yeah, the other thing is, let me see. Callie she's a pretty girl.
It's a pretty girl.
I guarantee you that is 99% of the problem with the gruesome twosome is that you're attractive and one or both of them want you.
They don't like good-looking gals. They don't like it at all.
And apparently at one point, that deranged Cabbage Patch looking one of the two,
Jabba the Hutt,
he said, well, the only people only watch Callie because she's pretty. She's nice to look at.
Who said that?
Yaba.
Good for you, Yaba.
Not recently, but
good for you.
Serious question.
Every once in a while, Yaba.
I got a serious question for Yaba. Oh my God! Thank you, Presley. Holy shit! Thank you. That is going to Colorado. Thank you.
Colorado money, honey.
Yes.
Thanks, Presley.
I know that always throws me off.
We need to see Presley. Next time you go live or next time you put something on social media with the Braves jersey on.
Yes. Do you know Presley actually she played baseball, not softball. Presley played baseball.
I mean, after you talk to her a couple times, just like small talk, you get that she knows what she's talking about a little bit.
She's very active. She still is active. She was braving the snow the other day, and where she works, she was like, I'm going to take me a truck home. and she got her she was able to take it home, and I was like, I bet you're going to be spoiled. And I said, it's an unexpected snowstorm. So my guess would be, and she can tell me if I was right or wrong, that because it was an unexpected deep snowstorm, that the next day there's going to be a few people that are like, screw this, I'm getting an all-wheel drive truck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they thought they made it. I bet you that's exactly what happens. People are like, no, forget this.
That's the whole reason that I wasn't raised up in
Yes.
New England. It was a blizzard of 75, and remember, those of you that are old enough to remember that year in Buffalo and Rochester, where there was like 10 feet of snow, 15 feet of snow. It was crazy. We lived in Schenectady, New York. We had got a lot of snow too. And it was after that my dad was like, I'm gonna raise my family down south.
And that's exactly what they did.
I mean, if right now it is halfway through March, and there are places that are getting pummeled
Sawyer.
with snow. And he's right there.
Come here. Oh, okay. Dee remembers the blizzard of 75.
Yes, I was living in Schenectady then. And I was about 6 or 7 years old. I remember, and I'm sure that the snow drifts were about 8 feet or 9 feet, but to me, they were like 20 feet because I was like this tall.
Thank you. Yes. Yes.
So, yes.
I was like thinking about the question that I was going to ask on Twitter, and then I was like, I guess I could ask it here. But the blizzard of 75, how deep was it?
What did they get? Like 15 feet of snow or something crazy like that?
Like where when you open your front door.
There's pictures of people that had dug like 5-foot holes, and down in the holes was the roofs of their car.
Oh my God.
And it was weeks before people could drive around.
That's interesting.
And they would plow the roads, but when they plowed the roads, anybody, their cars were underneath all of it. For like weeks.
Thank you.
People were crawling into their cars. There wasn't a whole lot of sunroofs back then, but people would crawl in.
You could open your sunroof.
Start their car to run it every day because it was, engine blocks were freezing and stuff like that.
Oh wow!
It was awful. It was fun if you were a kid.
Because you were out of school.
No, but you didn't realize that your parents. You're a kid. You go to bed. You don't realize that your parents are making sure they have enough oil and or the electricity would stay on, or there was enough food and things like that. You don't know. You don't think about that when you're 6.
No. Sawyer, don't. You're okay.
What's he doing?
He's doing his. I'm gonna come up to you and then I'm gonna back off, but he's gonna say hi. I used to the stuff for that compared to the back in the day when the bus. Oh yeah,
Yeah. Here for the mess says it's weak compared to back in the day when the bus would put chains on. And that's the other thing. If you get like here in Georgia, if there's going to be an inch of snow, they're shutting everything down.
Yeah.
But when you were a kid growing up in upstate New York, you put all your crap on, and you're right, the school bus still came with chains on the tires, and it might have taken an hour to get to school and an hour to get back because it's got to go 15 miles an hour the whole time, but you went to school.
Wow. They've streamlined like throwing salt down and stuff now. So when we go on the trip to Colorado to see my son, my dad is also coming. And the cool part, hey, right and wrong, the cool part about that is there's lots of laugh and lots of silliness.
Oh yeah.
We know how to make each other crack up laughing over stuff that's stupid. So it's gonna the three
fun.
of us.
It'll be
we
fun.
all have kind of the same.
3 generations.
The boy and the dad for sure have the same.
Yeah.
Slapstick personality laugh or whatever. But we wore coats in class, no heat. That's why we were a tougher generation. Yeah.
But like
hey, yoga pants.
You were like living, and there's 10 feet of snow on the ground. Dad was somehow had found where had a spot where all the firewood was. Remember, and he'd have a fire burning. And so if the power was intermittent, you stayed warm. Everybody lived around the fireplace. And you just didn't feel like you were in any kind of trouble or you weren't in any kind of discomfort when you're a kid.
Right.
Right now, as 50-year-olds, we don't even have any kids in the house here. The power wants to go out or the AC's not charged. We're all kinds of pissed off now.
Yeah.
Back then, you didn't remember that when you were a kid because your
No,
parents.
you didn't. And
No.
you thought it was cool sometimes
Yeah.
if it went on. Right and Wrong says, ATX, you had me dying earlier laughing. What part was it? Was it during the belly dance or what part of it?
We hadn't been on in a week. We wanted to catch. I mean, because we haven't been here, but people are still trying their best to get us spun up. I think we did pretty good, through the last month and a half, through the ish that we had gotten ourselves. We found ourselves in the midst of. But
Okay.
yeah. So I didn't when I was on panel with Tragic and Negs on Saturday. There was a lot of stuff. Callie, if you're still in there, I really didn't know those characters that they had put up there. I got to know them a little bit. Hopefully, I'll do that again when we'll do some drama community
Oh, all
stuff.
my posts. Okay.
But one thing I wanted to bring up, and I didn't. We were talking about dudes that have out of control. That their women are all over the internet, and that's Katie's guy Doug. He had a stroke, something like that.
That's what they say.
And that's awful. And I wish him the best. But what pissed me off was that Katie was just partying away. This guy's been in some kind of coma or whatever. Doug.
She said that she came to his house and he had a stroke and had been in a diabetic coma for several days. And at the
He's
time,
been in the hospital though, right?
Yeah, I don't know if he's.
She hadn't heard from him, but it wasn't a concern to her.
But she went over there. And
Yeah.
she's the one that I don't have any idea what that's all about. But yeah, prayers for Doug. If
that
he's
because
not, she said he's not going to be able to work for a while.
Because Doug, like him, hate him, whatever, he's probably the quintessential simp or cuck or whatever you want to call. He never leave that girl. He's always right there. She'll get into meet some other dude, be on the internet with him, streaming with him, with guys that have names of different colors like red and then orange and the other guys. And Doug just kind of stands by and let her act crazy like that. And then when she's all by herself, he comes back.
Yeah.
And now it's looking like he ain't going to be able to come back. Or maybe
he's got to make healthy boundaries, which he has.
Right.
He said he can't
deal
with her unless she gets sober.
Right.
The other, I will, Callie. She says, keep making the posts and making him mad. Broken people attract broken people. Yeah, that's absolutely the case.
Angry people attract angry people.
Okay, so here's Jocelyn said, I was watching MFW and Doug's wife got in her comments. It was good. What did she say?
Doug's wife?
That's what she said. What did she say? I heard her say last night she was going to see him on Thursday. And personal reason when I was thinking what she thought. Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, definitely. Asked in her comments to send one guy home because he was being yeah, her new buddy,
Katie's new buddy? Orange.
I want to say Rich Life of Road Trip because when they're laid up on that bed streaming,
he looks
you
just
cannot
like Rich
tell
Life.
me he doesn't look like Rich Life of Road Trip.
Tragic calls him Uncle Fester.
Yeah, they all have colors.
That is good.
Yeah, I don't know what the I don't know what the point of laying on the bed and streaming.
This dude has no.
But do you think
no
it's
idea
because,
though?
Do you think it's because so they don't figure out where he lives? Like, what is the point of laying like that on the bed?
They're gonna figure all that out. It's gonna happen.
Doug won't let her visit till Thursday because that's when she leaves. So-called, it's like, oh yeah, I don't. That something just doesn't.
Something's not adding up right here.
No, something doesn't. She called Doug earlier and bitched him out over Joanne. Yeah, somehow Joanne figures into this. Is that the wife, the ex-wife? Somehow she figures into it.
I thought Joanne was like a stepmom or something.
No, Joanne is, what is the mother-in-law? The stepmother's name is Darlene. Is it Darlene?
Help us out, folks. What's the stepmother?
Yeah, her stepmother whooped her ass on camera one time. Did you know that?
Beautiful.
It was a while back, but yeah. I didn't say you did anything, Presley. You want to? Okay. See, I'm clearly not caught up. She did say she was going to break this earth-shattering announcement on Patreon, and that was where she announced that it had happened, was on
When she
Patreon.
was on, we were Tragic was sniping her
You're good,
stream,
Presley.
and I was on his panel, and that's where she was saying that she had to jump off of. She had to, this would have been Saturday night. She has to jump off of the live stream
Oh,
that she was
yeah.
on and go to Patreon because she had certain stuff that she couldn't say on YouTube. And then she plugged her Patreon. So how many ever $10 or $15, and everyone could just hear about the news, which I think was about Doug, which is just it's just shameful.
It sounds about
It's
like what
shameful,
someone
but
who's super sick would do. Like,
yeah, it's just a, Katie has to use this as a ways to grab some cash.
Lana.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Katie is using this and she has to.
My nose itches. My nose itches.
Is it? So
Hope y'all got all
it's just Doug, who's stood by her and taken care of her and make sure her lights are on and her rent's paid, is in a coma. So everybody pay me $15 or $20 on my Patreon so you can hear me talk about what kind of shape he was in. It doesn't surprise me anymore. It's just very matter of factly how she is with her grift. It's
getting a
bad.
little bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's yeah, I don't know. It's yeah, no, Presley was saying she didn't do anything because her name is also the same as it's Joanne.
Got you.
Blonde says,
I get you.
hey, Blonde PC says, she's the one that is actually taking care of him at his time of need. That's what it sounds like.
Who is?
I know.
Not
that's
Katie.
why I said.
Not Katie.
I
The other
scratch
one,
my
right?
nose. It'll be all over the place.
The other one, not Katie.
That's his ex-wife that lives in the house that Katie used to live in.
Katie,
I don't know how that works.
Katie couldn't take care of him. I know it has to be the other lady. Katie can't take care of herself. So
I didn't even know Doug was diabetic. She feeds him all kinds of crappy food. I had no idea.
There's got to be other factors though.
Yeah, she was sucking on chicken wings.
Imagine being trauma bond to that one, being trauma bond to Katie. That is enough to do you in psychologically, mentally, and physically. It really, if you, I don't know what kind of life he leads, like, how his job is and all that, but the only reason that she has any kind of functionality at all is because she stays drunk all the time.
Yeah.
But it's a mess.
And what's also is this guy Orange, I guess his name is Matt or whatever. It's interesting how he likes his women. He likes them a little bit incoherent, which is a little interesting.
He likes them a little bit helpless,
a little bit incoherent.
That need things, that need their water bill paid,
or their $1,200 electricity bill. How the hell does your bill get to be $1,200 and they don't shut it off?
I don't even know how ours got to what ours was, and ours wasn't close to that. But I mean, I'm like, really?
Yeah. I think she went to the salon to get that hair bleached, and then she had synthetic extensions in. And in DC Media's Rumble this morning, she was like, "You better not run a hot iron through that. If it's synthetic like Barbie hair, it's gonna melt and catch on fire." And then she was like, "It's got to be human hair to straighten it." And then I noticed the next shot I saw of Katie, she had no extensions.
She fried them, didn't she?
Yeah, synthetic hair. I mean, you
it'll melt.
You can't flat iron synthetic hair. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Speaking of, how many of you used to cut your Barbie's hair at some point thinking you could do it? You think you can make a cute little hairstyle? The problem is...
You cut my hair. Look.
I know. The problem is Barbie's hair sticks straight up because of the way it's made. I cut it short, but I like it. Did she mention anything about him snapping that picture of him when they were laying on the couch? No, I didn't know he did that. The picture of her in her parka, there's a picture of her in her parka on the couch passed out like this. Again, not saying I never did it, but thank God it never got out.
You weren't on YouTube at the time.
Yeah. Jocelyn says, she didn't hurt her Barbies. Yeah. The Barbies at some point, you think you can do something and you jack them up. You know what I mean? I played Barbies until I was like in junior high.
You did? Mm-hmm. I never played with Barbies.
I would always find friends who liked to play. I mean, I'm not saying past like 6th or 7th grade, but I would always find friends who liked to play Barbies. I'd still play. You want to play Barbies?
Sure.
They're expensive now.
They are.
They're very expensive.
The ones that were real expensive, my middle daughter liked the All-American Girl. Remember that one? When it came?
Yeah.
And
it's still popular. American Girl is what it's called.
And it had like a Christmas a Christmas
You
edition.
can buy like furniture for it.
You remember when we first met and they had a flood in their house, remember?
That was her Barbie collection.
And
her
it
collector's
ruined
Barbie.
it.
Yeah.
And she was
They were
was
still in
crushed.
her box. They're in the boxes and
Yeah.
everything.
And
it
they were
ruined it.
probably from when she was in the 90s when she was born. That's and yeah.
That sucks. I had a Barbie collection for a while, but at some point, I've lost it along the way. American Girl, I think, I don't know. American Girl, though, is the bigger version. You can even have one made that looks like your kid.
Really?
Like they'll custom make one. It's expensive, but you buy clothes for it and all of that kind of stuff or whatever. And it's still popular. It's been like over the test of time. I had a Barbie house, cars, everything. I wish I could still have my, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Those were the times, you know.
The Barbie
when
dream
was
house.
like the first time as a kid that you really had overwhelming anxiety? For guys, it's a little bit different. They have a little bit different set of criteria.
Yeah.
I remember when I was 16 and got arrested, my friend was going through cars in the
Was
parking
this
lot.
the, why don't you go talk somewhere else?
No, this is different.
Oh.
And my friend goes into this convertible, and he's drunk. We're all really, really drunk. And so I go over there and I pull him out of the car, and we get into our car, and then we get pulled over by the cops, and they take me and my friend to jail. And we're 16, so we didn't realize that we really couldn't be taken to jail, but the cops took us down. This is in Roswell.
I bet you were still terrified.
I was terrified.
I bet.
More than being terrified, because I knew my friend was just drunk, and he really didn't do anything malicious. It's not like he vandalized anything,
Yeah.
or I think he had like walked out of the car with like a pair of dress pants that were in a bag or something. That was it. But so they called my parents, and my dad was like, can you just keep him overnight? Keep him safe overnight. Just keep him. They're like, yeah, we'll teach him a lesson. So they put us in a different like cell by ourselves. And then my dad came down the next day, and he released me to my dad. And I remember when I got home, I went up, and I was in my room, and I was 16, 17. And I remember lying there thinking that my life was completely over.
I
had I'm never going to be able to get a job. I'm never going to be able to do anything in life because of this. Couldn't go to college, all of that. And that was the first time.
Is that when you ended up going to North Georgia?
Something like that. Yeah, I was.
Where were you going to go?
I was going to go to the University of Alabama.
And Pop said, "Oh no, you're not.
You're not. You're going to military school for 2 years."
And he's like, "Yeah, I can do that." And then he went to military school. And he's like, "Well, let me go ahead and just join the army."
And I did
I'm
join
already.
the army. I mean, it ended up being a really good choice, choice, because it ended up being my career. So
yeah, it was a good choice. It's a good choice a lot for girls and boys that just aren't ready for college, aren't ready to jump into.
And you don't
it
know.
Really is a good.
You don't know too many 18-year-olds that will sit there and admit that they're not mature enough to do something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
Alex.
When I went to college, when I went to high school, I knew the next step for me was college. And I didn't understand. It was many, many years later. I was in the military before I realized that not everybody has the same opportunities. It's not like, when you're all through high school, you're thinking about what you're going to do for college. And a lot of people just don't think that way. My very first roommate, I think I've said this before, he grew up in the Bronx. He was a Puerto Rican guy from the Bronx, and I was this white kid from from Atlanta suburb. We ended up being roommates. And this is in 1992 when you don't have the internet. You don't have Google. You don't have all this stuff. So when I met this New Eurekan guy, right? Real hustler, kind of a banger. He was genuinely interested in this white boy too. And so we became really good friends. And he was the one that explained to me, growing up in the projects, growing up in the Bronx, and how different it is to try to live and maneuver there, and how much I took for granted.
Yeah.
Growing up as a teenager in upper middle class Atlanta with, highly educated dad and, a mother that was there all the time. One of my good friends,
That's cool. Yeah, that's very cool. I would feel the same way, like my life was over.
Yeah. And
It's no fun.
This guy taught me how to stand up for myself, because that's not something else that I didn't know how to do. You grew up in a pretty easy life all the way up until you're, 20 years old, 22 years old. You get pushed around a lot. You don't even understand you're getting pushed around. But I had this roommate that would tell me, he was like, man, don't let it, he
Sawyer.
kind of breaking it down for me. And he grew up where he was always having to protect himself, always having to fight, always having to, be tough. And he taught me how to stick up for myself. He taught me how to fight back, without necessarily fighting, but just, he taught me when people were trying to take advantage of me.
Yeah.
When people were.
And you said
Yep.
about suing.
Yeah, one time we were so we're doing something, and he was talking about getting something that he wants, and I said, you can't just go take that, somebody will sue you. And he said, sue me? He started laughing. He says, what do you mean? He said, you'll get sued. I said, you'll get sued. And he goes, sue me for what?
And
I don't
Sean's
have
like,
2 pennies to rub together, and then I was like, I never looked at it that way. He goes, I ain't worried about getting sued.
he ended up going to big places.
Yeah. So
he finally retired though, right?
I think he's just retired. He ended up doing like 34 years.
Yeah,
in the
and
military.
he's ready to get out.
Yeah, he's the top non-commissioned officer in, I won't tell you what branch or whatever, or in MOS, because people go look for him. He ended up being the top enlisted person in that whole department of
That's amazing.
the Army. Yeah.
Did he have kids?
Yep. I was there for the birth of his first,
Oh,
and he was around for Megan's birth.
Oh,
and
that's
that,
cool.
yeah.
I guess I didn't know that.
Yeah.
My dad
In Germany. I was in Germany with him. We were stationed in Germany together.
Yes. You know what Jocelyn says? My dad always taught me to ask for $1 or more applying for a job, because the worst case scenario is they say no. Always work for me. That your dad gives that advice too.
This guy taught me, Joss, when I'm walking from my apartment
Sawyer Brown
to Walmart. And of course, I never had to walk anywhere. I just jump in my car. But, we used to like ride bikes when we were in Germany. We had these bikes and we'd ride them around everywhere. And he was ruthless. He'd be like weaving through traffic and, cutting in front of people. And I was just couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
Like waiting for the red light to turn green and the crosswalks and stuff like that. I mean, just how to getting from point A to point B in Throgs Neck Bridge, New York, is hard to do.
But from Germany, he would go home on a 3-day weekend and take a hop.
Yeah.
And
figure
then
out how to go home for 48 hours to New York.
Like used to, it was like on cargo planes. You could hop a ride and go to the States or whatever. But he wouldn't even take leave or anything. He would go on a 4-day and take a hop there, and they'd be like, he's not going to make it back. He's not going to make it back.
There wouldn't be hide nor hair of him for 4 days. And the next time we had formation, he'd come walking up. And we're talking about going from Europe to North America and back.
Yeah.
He'd figure it out.
There's some cool stories that it's, wait, there's a state where you both born in. He was in the Bronx, right? He was born in the Bronx?
Yeah.
Jocelyn said, what state were you both born in? And you were born in...
I was born in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But I was raised here in Atlanta. But I've lived in upstate New York.
Ricky.
I've lived in Massachusetts near Boston. I've lived in Raleigh. I think we've talked about it, near Ipswich. I was stationed in Newport, Rhode Island. So I've been all over New England, but I call Atlanta home. Vidal, that was his last name. He was born and raised in the Bronx. So until he left.
That's a cool name. You are way more New England. In my opinion.
She says that?
That's what Jocelyn said.
Yeah, I mean, all of my family, I can tell you that,
Do you say wicked, Jocelyn? Do you say like I'm wicked tired? I'd never heard that before until like your family
I said it today. I said something
your
today
family
about...
at the reunion, they all said it.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, my whole family is, have that Red Sox-Yankee rivalry going on. So my godmother's in Bridgewater. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Bridgewater, Massachusetts.
That's very cool. Yeah, we need to go visit there. Let's go visit.
We need to. Well, we could have gone at the end of that. No, I'm just...
I know. We're like, need to have a good night, Karen. We won't be on here too much longer either. We finally started watching Emergency again.
It's pretty deep.
It was about a virus.
Yeah.
and it turns out the virus was from a monkey that the lady had brought back from Africa, and we knew as soon as we saw the monkey in her room. She
I
had
think
this,
was it Africa or was it Asia?
I don't know. She had this virus and she was sick.
But
and
you
they
see
were
this
like,
monkey jumping around in the background, and you know,
We were like,
I
"The
looked
monkey
at
did it."
I looked at Mandy, and I'm like, that monkey's got something to do with
But
it.
they were in the race against time to come up with something because the doctor had it, the
Yup.
paramedic had it,
Yup.
and then they were like trying to do like a vaccine, and then they were
They were
like,
working with
but nobody has the right number.
CDC, the Center
Right.
for Disease
They
Control.
were like in Atlanta. That's what they would call it. It was
And
crazy.
this is the 70s. And so when you think about COVID and everything, and if you watch Emergency, or if you want, if the name of the episode was The Virus, or
And it
Virus.
was in 1975.
Yeah, 1970, before you were born.
It was.
And they
It's
were talking about a virus and how it
eerie.
moves quickly and it's very contagious. It was wild.
It
to
was
watch.
very eerie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was even affected the respiratory system.
Yep. And
Yeah,
there
it
was
was
a race
interesting.
against time, and it happened very quickly, like
Yeah.
within like 48 hours or whatever.
I like that show. It's kind of embarrassing how much I like it,
But I mean, because we're lying in bed, and you're like, a lot of times when we're in bed,
yes, Mama Ricky.
we'll be in bed. Like when we get done here, we'll clean up the last few things. We'll shut the lights off. We'll crawl into bed, and we're both kind of doing our own thing and snuggling up. And so when we're watching Emergency, we're both focused on that. I think that's the thing that's
Yeah.
cool about it. I'm not watching a basketball game and you're watching some YouTube or whatever. We're together, watching the same thing. I think that's why.
We are. Look, there's Sawyer.
So I sent this picture. I don't know if you guys, I saw it and I sent it to Mandy
Come here.
along the lines of like predicting the future, like that virus did. But so NASA is watching an asteroid that's got a 1 in 400 chance of hitting the Earth on
Sawyer,
Valentine's
stop.
Day of 2046
Stop.
or 2046. So I found that and I sent it to Mandy, talking about trying to predict the future. So in Valentine's Day in 23 years, there's a 1/4% chance that this asteroid will hit the Earth.
And is it going to be as big as the one?
I mean, if it'll it'll eradicate most of us if it does.
They say that. I mean, I don't know. But,
but you think
that's
about
not
it.
the only one.
Yeah, but there's 1/4%, 1 in 400. So if it happens,
That's crazy.
that scenario happens 400 times. One time
You
it'll
can't
hit.
chew on Daddy's glasses.
One time it'll hit the Earth.
Chew on it. Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't know what's up with him right now.
He wants that one wants to go to bed. He wants to get on the bed and
This
lay
one
down.
wants to go to bed.
Well, no, I'm just you know how they are. 1 in
Yeah.
400. That's what they're. I'm hoping that they're wrong. Myriad Vinny G showed people. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so the rest of the week, March Madness starts on Thursday.
Yep. That's the real thing that we've mainly been watching is March Madness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Wednesday night's the play-in game, where there's like a couple of games where they're playing for the final slots, but basically I think Thursday and Friday is the first round, and Saturday and Sunday is the second round, and the next weekend will be the Sweet 16. And
Oh, that's cool.
it takes 3 weeks to do the whole tournament.
Okay.
You have to win 6 games.
Okay. Have a good night, Presley. We're gonna jump off to Vinny G. Yeah, Vinny G had a stroke several years ago. I didn't know he was still on YouTube. I had no idea.
Didn't he get sick again? I know that
I don't know.
he was way in the drama community a few years ago, hanging out with like Diane and Wendy and things like that.
When Boyd crossed over into the drama community,
Yeah.
that was when it was.
Well, some of us knew who Vinny G was before that, before we knew who the rest of the Boyd people were.
I remember hearing his voice. I mean, I still worked at the that post, so it was a while ago.
It
that
was
was
a
the
while
first
ago.
time I heard
Yeah.
it.
He liked us.
He does music now.
He supported you and
Depend
I.
on the day.
Depending on the day, or depending on how much he had to drink.
Yeah, I like it when he goes after Molly Golightly. Is she still around?
I'm sure she is. I mean, Savage was going after her pretty bad.
Yeah, I don't know. But we did have a good night.
We did. It's good to touch bases with y'all again.
when exciting things happen with the chickens, we'll let you
You
know.
know.
Not a lot exciting going on right now.
ATX and Tomahawk, your home for boring chicken stories.
Yeah. Yeah. And we actually get a lot of people. When I upload those little videos,
Yeah,
they get a lot of
they get-
views. Isn't that crazy?
Like country life hashtag or chicken
Stitching.
farmer and stuff like that. People watch that.
Yeah.
They do.
Anyway, hi weirdos. Thanks for watching.
Who was
That's
that?
Jocelyn. Jocelyn always leaves a message for the lurkers or whatever.
Yeah.
But thank you again. Y'all have a good night. Thank you for the super chat and the PayPal and just being here to support us.
Yeah. We're gonna jump in and we do drama a little bit. We talked about it. We're gonna defend ourselves and drag some people if they want it. But really, we just like chilling out with you guys.
Yes, it's a lot of fun. But you guys have a good night.
Yep.
Oh, hey Sarah, we'll pop back on depending on how our week looks. Tomorrow it should be. We'll probably be able to. I just don't want to promise because sometimes we end up, now that it stays light a little bit longer, we do more with the chickens and then time gets away from us.
Mama Ricky coming in right at the end. We're thanks for coming in, Sarah and Mama Ricky.
Thank
We're
you.
just about to sign off, but the replay will
We
be
always
there.
leave it up.
We do. We don't have to dirty delete we haven't dirty deleted anything, have we? I don't think so.
No, we took something out of one time and I'm trying to remember why. But it's not.
Oh, you
not
took
fun
out
taking
Colin.
it.
You cut out a part that you said something about Angelo one time.
Oh, that's right. Now I should have left it in there.
Yeah, I mean,
you're right. And it took forever to take it out. He's another one that's obsessed with us. Angelo, go to hell.
Angelo
hey, Gypsy.
doesn't do any content, but every once in a while he leaves a snarky comment.
Goodness, we'll get back to the chicken stories. Don't worry.
Yeah. He ties one on and decides it's a smart eye. Just when we think, well, we'll give the guy a break, he has a snarky comment or something that
and the only reason I see it is if I never look at the notifications on YouTube, but I wanted to see if somebody responded to something, so I tapped it and it said whatever his crazy name is shared your post, so I went and looked at it. Yeah. And it was super
talking
creepy.
About us.
Like we act like 15-year-olds or something.
No, he said something like stop taking money for your nose habits and stuff like that.
Oh, I heard of something about taking money for your.
Yeah.
I was like, dude,
he's really jelly there.
Hey, Annalie, okay. Hey. He's a creepazoid. But keep talking about us. Who cares?
Yeah, it's okay.
Doesn't bother us.
Nissa says silkies are so pretty. They are. We have to get more pictures of Motley. We have our silky rooster
he's
now.
Cute.
And he's getting settled in. He's a little
Very
bit more.
Very cool, Nissa. We will. I promise. The next time we're going to focus on the chickens because I know a lot of you like to hear the chicken stories. So we'll focus on that. Someday I'll put like clips together of our chickens.
Hey,
and
Gypsy.
We'll review it live. The two babies appear to be roosters.
It's like at 10:45 and another whole gang of people are coming in.
I know.
Well, y'all watch the replay, please. That we like that.
And hopefully we will see you tomorrow. And
yeah, we'll try to
have a good night.
Tomorrow.
Bye. You like our rooster stories? Yeah, Tiny. Good Lord. Tiny is something else. Have a good night.
See y'all.
Bye.
Bye.